What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy here, Joel_Mugisha. Today we are back in Migori County in Kenya guys, and I'm gonna be giving you my opinion and my experience between living in Kenya versus living in Tanzania guys. And I choose to do this video while walking on the road and showing you guys around than just to sit down with a boring background or white background guys. So I want to do this video comparison between my experience in Tanzania versus my experience in Kenya while walking around and showing you guys around Migori County, Kenya. So guys, my first impression, point number one is the first impression, of course, when I came to Kenya for the first time, especially when you're landing in a city like Nairobi. The first thing that's gonna hit you guys is the level of infrastructural development that they have right there in Nairobi, Kenya. And also when you're coming from the countryside, Kenya has some of the best road systems and road networks guys. And my first impression entering Tanzania guys, I went to Mwanza recently. If you are watching this video and you haven't seen my previous videos, you can watch the videos before this. I was in Mwanza, the second largest city in Tanzania after Dar es Salaam. So that was a shock actually. So my first impression entering Tanzania was the landscapes guys. And one thing about Mwanza, Tanzania is they have a lot of rocks guys. You can see this type of rocks right here in Migori County. Migori County is like a province which is near to the Tanzanian border, and these rocks go all the way to Mwanza, and Mwanza has the nickname of being called Rock City. So if you get to Mwanza, one of the first things that's gonna hit you is the rocks in that city. There are so many of these types of rocks around there, and they are so beautiful. They make the landscapes look good and beautiful. And man, the view of the Serengeti is the biggest and most famous savanna national park in Africa, where you can come guys and watch the Big Five. And on the northern side of Kenya, it's connected to the Masai Mara, where you can also come and have a game, you know, tour reserve where you can watch the Big Five like lions, rhinos, elephants, giraffes, you know, wildebeest migration. It's also famous for that because every year they have a wildebeest migration migrating from Masai Mara to the Serengeti in Tanzania guys. So my first impression of Tanzania was how clean also the roads were. I didn't expect the roads to be that clean guys. One thing I know, and I think Kenyans or Kenyan cities need to take a book out of Tanzania, is how to keep the roads clean guys, because Tanzania has some of the cleanest roads I've seen in East Africa, apart from Rwanda. Of course, Rwanda is leading when it comes to cleanliness. No country in Africa comes close, but Tanzania, man, I'm telling you, when I entered Mwanza, the city was super clean. You couldn't even believe, and the city is super massive. So Tanzania is clean. Mwanza, Tanzania, the city, the roads are well maintained and very clean compared to what I've experienced here in the Kenyan cities like Kisumu, you know, Naivasha or Nairobi guys. So that's my first impression of the city. So guys, I'm walking along this road right here in Migori County. So point number two guys, I'm gonna talk about the people, because when you are going to a new country, one of the things that you are going to experience, the first thing you're going to experience is how the people treat you as a foreigner. And in these two countries, I can say they are very hospitable to foreigners. Here in Kenya, this is like Nairobi, guys. Nairobi is one of the most diverse cities in East Africa, because you can find every type of community in Nairobi, guys. You can find Ethiopians, Rwandans, Burundians, South Sudanese, Somalians, every part of the world, every part of this continent of Africa you can find in Nairobi, and people are very welcoming, you know, in a way that they won't bother you of anything, and they won't be judging you of being a foreigner. But in Tanzania, guys, it's different. They have a different type of hospitality. You know, look at the landscapes here, guys, looking good and looking right beautiful right here in Migori County. So I was saying, guys, Tanzania, their type of hospitality is different, because they want to know who you are. They want to know who you were. They want to know where you come from. They want to talk to you. Compared to Kenya, they are hospitable. They are very generous. They are very good compared to other countries, guys. They won't have any problem with you actually anywhere. But in Tanzania, they take it to another level in the fact that they want to know who you are. They want to talk to you. They want to know where you're coming from. They want to talk to you, you know. That is how the people will treat you in Tanzania. That is something I experienced that was different from Kenya, is that the people in Tanzania, they want to talk to you. They want to know how you're doing, you know. And one of the barriers of that in Tanzania is that the language, guys. So point number 3 is gonna be the language. When you come to Kenya, Kenyans, at least 90% of Kenyans, guys, speak Swahili, and they speak English, very good English. So if you're coming as an English speaker in Kenya, you're gonna have a very nice time talking to anybody right here in Kenya, because everybody here in Kenya understands English. Tanzania, on the other side, it's a little bit different. They want to talk to you, they want to be hospitable, but the problem is in Tanzania, they only speak Swahili. Now, English to them is like maybe 20% of the people can understand English. Even if we find someone who understands English, they understand the language, but they cannot speak it very clearly. So that's the downside of Tanzania. That's because their language speaking, especially in English, is not that good, guys. So in Tanzania, you're going to be struggling to speak English actually, or communicate to the locals by speaking in English, guys. But here in Kenya, language is not a barrier, because everybody will talk to you in English. So guys, on to point number 4. Point number 4, I'm gonna be talking about the infrastructure difference between Kenya and Tanzania. I think on this one, I'm gonna have to give it to Kenya, guys. Kenya has the best infrastructural systems right here in East Africa, guys. I'm talking about tall, high-rising skyscrapers in Nairobi. I'm talking about interconnecting, you know, highway and super highways. I'm talking about the biggest or the largest airport here in East Africa. I'm talking about, you know, the most developed country here in East Africa. So when it comes to infrastructure, guys, I'm gonna give it to Kenya. But one thing I'm gonna talk about is, I've been to Tanzania, yes, but I've only been to the second largest city, which is Mwanza, Tanzania, guys. I've not been yet to Dar es Salaam, but I've been to Mwanza. And one thing that shocked me is the huge and the size of Mwanza as a city. You know, I used to think Mwanza is like a small city like Migori town, but man, that city is huge, and I never thought how big it were. Actually, it is very big, very huge, well developed, well managed, and very interconnected also with green spaces. So in terms of cities away from Nairobi, I think I'm gonna give it to Mwanza, because Mwanza is not the first city, but if now we are talking about cities away from the capital, I think Mwanza has to take that one. Very connected, very developed, but as a whole, guys, in terms of infrastructure, Kenya is just on another level. Very, 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 very interconnected in terms of any kind of infrastructure that you can think of. If it's telecommunication, Kenya takes it. If it's, you know, real estate, Kenya takes it. If it's a lot of things, man, Kenya takes it. And upon that, I want to talk about the currency, guys. The currency difference here in Kenya and in Tanzania. Yeah, guys, you can see this is Migori. Yeah, so guys, I'm gonna talk about point number 4, which is point number 5, sorry, which is the currency difference. Now, on the currency, again, Kenya takes this one, guys. Do you know why? Because the cost of a Kenyan shilling to the dollar is smaller than the cost of Tanzanian shillings to the dollar. So, in comparison, 1 Kenyan shilling will give you 20 point something Tanzanian shillings. So that means if you have 1,000 Kenyan shillings, that's gonna give you around 20,500 or some coins there, Tanzanian shillings. So 1,000 Kenyan shillings is equivalent to 20,000 Tanzanian shillings. That shows you that the economy in Kenya is stronger than the economy in Tanzania, guys. So up to point number 6, this is the second last point that I'm gonna talk about, is the cost of living. The cost of living between Tanzania and Kenya. So this is very huge. In fact, it depends and varies to your preference, guys, because the cost of living in Kenya is a bit high when we are talking about commodities and foodstuffs. Buying commodities and buying foodstuffs here in Kenya is very expensive, guys, compared to Tanzania, which I was shocked, because in Tanzania you can have a very good, nice meal, plate meal, for 2,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is equivalent to 100 Kenyan shillings. You can have a very good plate of, you know, pilau rice plus meat stew and some salad. But here in Kenya, you cannot get that for 100 Kenyan shillings. At least you would need 300 Kenyan shillings or 350, around there, guys. And the price of commodities in the supermarket, they are cheaper in Tanzania compared to Kenya. But now, where Kenya beats, now Tanzania beats Kenya on food, prices of food and commodities. But Kenya beats Tanzania when it comes to the cost of living in rental properties or in accommodation, guys. One thing I found about is when I went to Mwanza, we had like a hotel for 30,000 Tanzanian shillings. You can check that out on my video road trip from Kenya to Tanzania, the type of hotel that I got, guys. And that is around $12 per night. 30,000 Tanzanian shillings per night. That is to $12 to $15 per night. And the standard of that hotel, guys, was not up to par with the standards of hotels here in Kenya. Accommodation here in Kenya is very, very cheap because Kenya is far much more advanced in terms of real estate and properties. So here in Kenya, a place like in the major cities, Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, you can get an Airbnb, a very, very good Airbnb for around $10, $12, $15. That is a better standard of living quality than what you can get in Tanzania. I don't know about Dar es Salaam. I was in Mwanza, so I'm talking about my experience with Mwanza, guys. Maybe in Dar es Salaam is different, but I don't know, guys. So I think overall the cost of living, Kenya has it in infrastructure in terms of accommodation and hotels and Airbnbs, which are cheaper here in Kenya, but Tanzania will have it in terms of food stuffs and a commodity pricing. So I don't know which is your preference there. Do you prefer to rent cheaper and buy things like food and commodities expensive a little bit, or do you prefer to rent a little bit expensive and then buy foods and commodities a little bit cheaper? So that is up to you. That is my experience of the cost of living right there in Tanzania, guys, and versus the cost of living right here in Kenya, guys. Woo, guys, I'm already sweating very much right here from this walk and this hike to the border town. As I explained to you, my experience between living in Kenya and living in Tanzania. So the last point I'm gonna talk about is gonna be safety, which is a very big deal breaker for many of you guys when you're truly looking to travel to different countries. So I'm gonna talk about the safety between Kenya and Tanzania, living in Kenya versus living in Tanzania, guys. Now I'm gonna start with Tanzania, or let me start with Kenya, guys. Kenya is a generally safe country, but you have to be more careful with what you do while you are walking in the street, where you're going, a little bit more than Tanzania, because cities like Nairobi, they are not your cup of tea. You know, it's not a city that you can just walk with a camera on your face anywhere. There are some places in Nairobi you can do that, but not anywhere, guys. So generally Kenya is safe, but you have to be cautious. I mean, you have to be cautious. Tanzania, on the other hand, guys, is per my own experience safer than Kenya is, because I've been in Tanzania, I've been walking in the street, nobody bothered me while shooting and making videos right there in Tanzania. I was shooting in the streets, I was making and filming everywhere. The police didn't bother me, neither did the people. They were so friendly and welcoming. But if you're shooting or filming in Kenya, especially in major cities, you have to be wary of the people. Not everybody, but you know, you have to be wary of thieves, and also sometimes the police might harass you, so you have to be careful about that, guys. So it doesn't happen often, and yeah, these are the things that I'm talking about, guys. Look at this. This is Kenya right here, with garbage just along the streets, guys. You can see that, but you won't find that in Tanzania, guys. Their roads are well maintained and super clean, so it's safer in Tanzania than it is right here in Kenya. So those are my comparison, those are my viewpoints, my experience between living in Tanzania versus living in Kenya, guys. So that is my experience right there. I don't know what your opinion is. If I have offended anybody, just let me know. I'm sorry about that, but that's my experience between living in Kenya versus living in Tanzania. So guys, tell me what you think on the comment section. Also drop a comment, like this video, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this video. If you like it, let me know. I might make another comparison video between living in Rwanda versus living in Kenya or Tanzania or Burundi, because I've been to those countries also. You can find the videos right here on this channel. So thank you very much. See you on the next one. Bye bye.